it's definitely been a bit of a difficult one to keep a secret. I've known now for a good week or so. Very, very, very excited. And this is my BMW R1200 GS. It's a 2013 model. It's got all the bells and whistles, which is quite odd really for sort of 2013, because there wasn't a huge deal back then for sort of all these electronics, etc. As you can obviously see by my previous video, that I traded my street triple for it. I just wanted something that was going to be a bit better for crunching the miles, better for touring, really just sort of ease of use as well, better mileage, the MPGs, more luggage, suspension settings, just every little detail you can possibly think of. And really, what an incredible bike for that. Obviously, yes, I've said in my previous videos that I was a little bit, what's the word? Well, I mean, one, I was eager to find out what I'd actually feel about a bike that was of ample size, and would I fit really well. And it's funny, I was inquiring about the 1200 GS, and many things actually steered me away from it without me having to actually have a look. So sort of practice what you preach, I suppose, really, of trying new things. And I did a little bit of digging, a little bit of hunting, had a sit on one, had a test ride, and yeah, took the plunge and went for it. So really, it's funny because somebody else said to me, oh yeah, you don't want a 1200 GS, they're too big and you won't be able to move them, you won't be able to do this. Now yes, okay, admittedly they are a heavy bike, but what are my first impressions? You should really only go by what you think. So my first impression is, yes, it is a heavy bike, but the weight is really low down, being that it is the boxer engine. So really, that low center of gravity really does help you, one, maneuver it sort of during the slower speeds, but also in the twisties, in the bends and things, it just helps you be able to throw it around a lot easier. So nothing to be intimidated about. It's just going to take a little getting used to, because it's not like my street triple, the street triple being quite a bit smaller, a little bit skinnier, a bit more nimble. But unfortunately the street triple had to go. I might get another one day. Might go for one of the older models, the one with the circle twin headlights and the twin exhaust at the back. I've heard they wheelie like a good one, so you never know, maybe one for a toy when I don't really feel like toting this heavy ass thing around. So going back to my first impressions, it is not as difficult as people have made it out to be. I'm sure maybe I'm a tad underestimating it. Let's pop the screen down a bit. Oh, that's something I'm not used to having. Nice big screen. So yes, first impressions, it's very comfortable, very agile. As you can see, you can throw it around quite easily. Sometimes a little easier than I expect sometimes, but with that traction control and all those suspension settings, so it's got the electronic suspension, so it's always sort of reading what's going on with the bike and the road and things, and it's always constantly trying to adapt. It's got the telelever suspension at the front, which is basically like it's like it's on rails, so it doesn't have that fork dive that you get with other motorcycles. So you sort of anchor onto the front brake, and you don't really see the front end dive right down, which is I'll admit, it's a very strange experience, but a new experience nonetheless. So this isn't supposed to be like a fully in-depth review. It's just really, what do I think after having it for a few days, getting used to it. It's like anything, you've got to get used to it. You treat it a little bit gingerly at first, and you just push it a little bit more. So what I'm very much looking forward to having a go of is, when I go into the car park, do some cone exercises, learn how to really throw it downwards. I've seen many other riders do that, and I just sit there and go, man, I couldn't even dream of doing that right now. This bike just feels very alien in that sense, but I'm willing to try. Nothing is ever out of anybody's grasp, so I will get to it. Yes, it's very part of the clan now. Yay! So really back on to my sort of first impressions then. I really like the ride-by-wire. It's got the rider modes, It's very, very sensitive, so certainly giving it a handful definitely puts a smile on your face. So I remember on the day I picked it up, I was in second gear, so I gave it a bit of a handful, and the front wheel just lifted all on its own. I was like, whoa, okay. Yeah, didn't get that from the Triumph. Yeah, that was quite interesting. The brakes there are very, very capable. You really can lean on those Brembo brakes. I tell you, one of the things I never thought I'd ever be able to get used to, and I didn't really see it as a thing you'd want on a bike, and that is the cruise control. On the way to work, just flick it on and just glide. So yeah, overall very, very, very pleased. The wing mirrors are, oddly enough, very, very satisfying because, well, they're very, very clear. I don't really know if I'm showing it on the camera, but I'm sure if they're clear through my eyes, they're definitely clear through yours. I mean, they are crisp. The bike came with Michelin Anarchies 3s, I believe, and I mean, I haven't had any experience with this particular tyre, but I've sort of scoured through the internet as you do, looked at reviews, seen what they're all about, and people are saying they're very, very capable tyres. All I will say is they seem a bit like there's tons of feedback. Not so much when you're on the actual tracks where cars would go, but as soon as I sort of move into the middle a bit, it sounds like it picks up either a bit of extra noise, but definitely a bit of extra feel. So if anybody has any information about that, please let me know if this is what they are known for, or if it's just my bike having a bit of a paddy. I don't know. I doubt it very much, but so that's definitely one of my gripes, sort of getting ahead of myself there. I was kind of hoping I'd get a model with the quick shifter, but then again I've also been assured that it feels a little bit, what was the term, agricultural is what I've heard many times, where it just feels a bit too clunky, a bit too, yeah, too much like a tractor, which is, it's been aptly named, nicknamed a tractor. So yeah, very little complaints at this point. Obviously it's just a case of getting used to it, and then I'll probably find some more as I go along, and sort of my likes and dislikes. But yeah, I'm overall very, very pleased. Very pleased. I've got to do a few little modifications to it, not only for protection of the bike because of the, the heads of the boxer engine just poking out the side there, which I haven't actually kicked it yet, which I thought I was going to shit it a lot. Anyway, I digress. I'm going to be, hopefully tonight, be purchasing some bars for it. So at least then, if it does come tumbling down, I don't have to be so nervous of cracking the heads at all. And, yeah, I don't imagine that being too cheap because BMW. What else? Well, I've got some little rubber grommet things to lower the seat. Now they reckon it only lowers it by say 10 mil, which apparently what they said was on paper it doesn't sound like an awful lot, but apparently makes all the difference. Like I said, I'm not the tallest dude in the world, and yes, I can touch the floor both sides, tiptoes both sides admittedly, sort of on the balls of my feet, but it would be nice if I could sort of get a bit more of a sturdy ground, especially when I sort of up the, to let it know I've got luggage and myself, and then obviously when I put my lovely wife on the back to take her on a nice comfy journey, it would be nice if I didn't drop the bike with her on it. Yeah, and it came with the BMW, I think it's called Vario luggage, so you can open them up, and there's like this little grab handle, which I'll show you all in a future review if you haven't already seen it, which I'm sure you might have because they are, very popular bike, of course. Yeah, so you can make them extra big and fit all your luggage in and stuff, which I'm already taking full advantage of, which is fantastic. Yeah, and lovely enough, where I got the bike from, so huge shout out to Hive Hill Motorcycles in Colchester. Johnny, you are an absolute legend if you managed to see this video. Very, very helpful bloke, from start to finish. It's a nice family-owned business, family-run, and a great selection of bikes. and they were very helpful to me, you know, from start to finish. And you know, showed me around the bike, showed me how to work all the little bits and pieces that I wasn't too familiar with. So, you know, didn't make me feel stupid for it either, which is fantastic. So if you guys are in Colchester, please do go check them out. And yeah, so they chucked in a sat nav, which I believe it's one of the newer models. As you can see, I'm still just gingerly getting used to sort of getting around the bends on it, but it does feel like it's on rails for sure, which is fantastic. I might just turn up the ESA a little bit so it's a little bit more firm. I mean, one thing I would definitely say, as just excuse the wind noise if it's picked up a little bit. But one thing I will definitely say about the front end on this is it does feel a little bit vague, and I don't know if that's just because I haven't done the suspension right, and obviously because of my height and things, so I've got to work that out, or if it is just to do with that telelever suspension. Let's see if I can be a little more brave with these corners. I'm going to give it a little more pull. There we go. Yeah, it feels lovely. You know, at some point obviously you're going to probably see me throwing it around like anybody's business, but until that day I will handle it with what's the saying, with kid gloves. I know the wife is very, very keen to get on the back, so the sooner I get used to it, the better. Alright then, my epic dudes, so drop it down in the comments below what you think of the bike, you know, for the channel, if you think it's the right bike for me. Not that I'm going to change it anyway, because, you know, I do definitely think I could become one with this bike, so to speak. And I'm just enjoying the new experience. But if you own a GS, or, you know, have had experience with GSs, you know, or adventure bikes in general, and if you think there's something I could be learning and doing better, please let me know in the comments below, and help a brother out. If any sort of modifications you think would definitely be helping out, you know, with my sort of ease of use, or any other ways to handle the bike in better forms, because, you know, every day I'm going to be learning with this thing and growing with it. So, and I do plan on putting plenty of miles on it, getting around the UK, and, you know, when I feel bold enough and have the time, then I'll be looking to maybe do some tours abroad. Yeah, I'll be looking forward to meeting some of you guys. Now I have a much more capable machine, because I didn't really want to take the Triumph for a long distance, even though I know it would be more incapable, but this just feels like it'd be a much better place to just sit and chill, and yeah, sort of speaks for itself really. Alright my dudes, anyway, if you haven't yet, hit a like and subscribe. Let me know how you're getting on, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.